Sean Hannity, last week on his radio show, decided to lecture the Pope right along with Rush Limbaugh. This is something that Limbaugh does all the time now, too. And he's going to lecture him about the virtue of work.
And I think what is missing is, remember, God himself created the earth in 7 days. And he worked 7 days. And he worked 6 days and rested on the seventh. And he created, I think that's a model. Through the sweat of thy brow, thou wilt earn thy bread. Part of the human experience is you got to realize that life is not just all about yourself. And that part of maturity in life is that you've got to find some talents that you were born with and serve other people. Now, you can do it a lot of different ways. Maybe you give news and information and perspective that you're not going to find anywhere else on the radio and on TV. That's what I have found. I love doing it, but it's a service. If you're a waiter and a bartender, you're serving other people. If you're a carpenter or a builder, you are serving other people. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the server to be nice to you. Whatever you do that makes you money, you are providing goods and services for others. Now, human beings make choices in life. We can't forget this part. Human beings make choices. It's almost like between Obama and Western Europe and the former Soviet Union and the Chinese communists, it's like the world is turning against human initiative and accomplishment.
That's right. The world is turning against human initiative and accomplishment. And for those of you who don't know, as the Pope points out and as Sean Hannity points out, all of Jesus' message, it was about goods and services and capitalism and economic growth and all stuff like that. Oh, wait, yeah, that was Milton Friedman's message, not Jesus Christ. It was Ayn Rand's message. It's Ron Paul's message. Look, I have no problem with people who have that viewpoint. I disagree with them. The idea that all that matters is how hard you work and fall in line to serve the regime. Okay, look, if that's your perspective, fine. Free country, free world, go right ahead and believe that. But don't try to pretend like you have Jesus on your side, like Jesus would have been rah-rah right along there with you. Did you notice what Sean said at the beginning there? He's like, oh, the God created the world 6 days, was off on the seventh. I think that's a good model. Come again? I didn't quite get that. Oh, you're saying you would like the American economy to limit the weekend now to only 1 day? Is that what you're in favor of? Please, Sean, go right ahead and run on that platform, and I will watch you get absolutely fucking destroyed. You know how many people agree with you? Nobody. Maybe there's like 7 dudes in the middle of Alabama, the last remaining listeners of right-wing talk radio, that are like, yeah, I want to work more, man, and have less time with my family and my friends and to do the things I love, and I like that message, Sean. Wait, what? I hate that message. What am I saying? I mean, come on, man. Again, you can believe all those things, that capitalism, rah-rah, work harder, do this, do that, but that's not Jesus' message. The message of Jesus was to always care about the poor and the downtrodden and the sick. I mean, there are passages in the Bible, what is it, the story of Lazarus, where he says, no, even if you're rich and you did work hard, you're not going to get into heaven. You're not, because you cared only about the material being on earth, and you already had your heaven on earth where you had everything you wanted, and we're just not going to let you in. Never mind the passage that's always cited about how it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. I mean, it goes on, man. And the idea that Jesus mostly focused on labor, no, he focused on charitable givings and caring about people and always being a kind person and turning the other cheek. In other words, if somebody did you wrong, well then, okay, you turn the other cheek and say, hit this cheek too, big guy. It's fine because I'm above it all, you know. But what they do is they morph their message, Jesus' message, to try to conform with their pro-gun, pro-America message. You know, man, Jesus loved guns. He loved the war in Iraq. He loved capitalism, and he definitely loved Walmart. Yeah. And then final thing I'll say, man, is there's nobody, it's false to say that anybody is anti-work. There's nobody who's anti-work, you know? There are varying degrees of being pro-work. That's all there is. There's some people who want you to have a little more vacation time and make a little more money to actually be compensated for what you do. Like, for example, right now we live in a country where if you work a full-time job, you don't make enough money to survive. Okay, yeah, I'd like people to make more. I'd like them, if they're working full-time, they should be able to survive. How radical of me! You know, only the overwhelming majority of Americans are with me. But there's no such thing as anybody being anti-work. Nobody's like, I'm in favor of everybody being a moocher and a parasite and not working and not doing anything and that's it. But they morph it like that's the case. They pretend like that's what Pope Francis argued for. They pretend like that's what Obama's in favor of. Meanwhile, he grew the private sector by 8.9 million jobs, actually more than that now. Meanwhile, he actually is very right-wing in his belief system. Nobody is actually anti-job, but that's the thing that the tricks that the right-wingers have to do. They have to come up with tricks to paint a straw man of their opposition because they know they can't actually win in a debate of ideas if we actually tell them what we actually believe.